Hello, hello. Deborah Detter here from the BeaufortBelle, and I'm doing a spread in abandoned places today, some reverse collage. Dee Dee Willingham does a fabulous job, and she does great art in these books, doing what she calls reverse collage, because you're not just adding pieces onto the page, you're also painting parts out that you don't want or that you want to change, into something else. So there's several of these books, abandoned books by Kieran Connolly, and they're just picture after picture of abandoned buildings and places that have just been lost, not taken care of, just all kinds of fabulous stuff. And I have to say, it is a lot of fun to do this. It can be a little intimidating. I know, watching Dee Dee do it, Dee Dee makes it look so easy. Well, like she says, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And she's completely right about it. For instance, I got the book. I finally got the courage up just to buy the book. I found a used one on Amazon, and it's in great shape. Didn't look like a soul had touched it, so that was worth the savings. And I started looking through it and found a few pictures that really intrigued me, and I was very excited about starting. Here's one that I've started. This is a picture of a tunnel in New York that has since been abandoned, but it had some beautiful stained glass window parts up here. Just beautiful mosaic tiles throughout. And I decided to put some water dribbling down the stairs and spilling out onto the, what do they call this? I don't know, walkway is what I'm going to call it. And coming around, and this was where the train tracks were, and I just filled that up with water like a river rushing by. And that's as far as I've gotten on this one. But let me just show you a few of the pictures. This is an old abandoned roller coaster, old abandoned like gas station. This is on historic Route 66. How about that? There's a tanker that's been abandoned. It what do you call it? It came ashore, and the wreck, it says now the wreck has broken up most of the large pieces, and you can only see them at low tide. So that's a cool picture. Here's an old lighthouse in Denmark. This is a theater setup that I'm dying to do something with. I just cannot decide what I want to do. Like, one of my ideas is to take this part of the stage and make it like it's an aquarium and have fish and little plants coming up from the bottom and fish, maybe a mermaid in there, and then you have your audience looking at that, but I'm not sure. And then maybe turn that into a portal that looks up into space, or just blue sky, a beautiful blue sky, and add lights, coming down from the ceiling. Don't know, just a thought. But it just has some really cool images to work with. That would be great. This one, I had a man that was kind of in a seated position. I cut out from a magazine and seated him on the back of the bunny. Well, the man just didn't go with the bunny, I need to find some kids or a lady, a picture of a woman. Most likely I want to find some kids to put in this and do something else with the top. Okay, so I have done a few. And it was scary at first, but like she said, I'll reiterate that, the more you do it, the more comfortable you become. And yes, if you mess up, what is the biggest thing you've lost? A page or 2 pages in a book, and you just try again on the next one. Or paint all over the whole thing and, use it for something else, redo it. It's really not that big of a deal. So this one was the first one that I completed, and it was these bands of, these are walls that were there, and I think there were like windows or something in the spaces in between. It's like this was the banner, like to hold, keep you from falling over the ledge, and the apartments or doors and windows were, you know, up in this part. Well, I blacked that part out and turned those into space, and then added all of these images of people. I used matte medium to glue them to the page, and did my star splattering with white paint, and added a couple of planets and a moon, crescent moon, and a planet up here and star there, and but they're all looking down or heading towards this globe spherical image, gold image that's in the middle of this pit down here that's moss covered. And then I added mist, like flowing out of the pit, and some stars, and this guy, he's you know, jumping out of an airplane. What do you call those people? I can't think of the word. My brain has just gone completely dead today. Well, it's dead all the time, I think, or that's what I'm beginning to think. But anyway, it was so much fun to do. And once, you know, you just start auditioning some pieces to go on. And once I got her and had cut her out and put her here, I didn't even have, you know, this picked out. This was actually a piece of jewelry, you know, that I cut out of a fashion magazine. And before I even had that picked out, I picked her out and had her, you know, you can tell she's looking down into this pit. You know, then your mind starts going with other things. It's like, oh, what is she actually looking at in the pit? And then I found this. And then I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have two little tiny people coming up on these catwalks toward it, you know, and have some others looking. And, you know, once you get an idea, it just turns into a couple of other ideas, and you just kind of go with it. And, you know, it may not be beautiful to everybody, but I thought it was really cool. It was fun. That was the main thing. I had so much fun putting this together, and completely finished with it. I did this one back in August of 2018. Then I've done, let's see, let me try to find my favorite one. Well, no, I'll save my favorite for last. I'll show you another one that's completed. Well, it's not completed, but it's very close to being complete. See, if I was a good YouTuber, these are tips for other YouTubers. If I was a good YouTuber, I would have had little post-it notes on the pages. This page is almost done. I need to do my splatter to do my stars in the sky. This was just a beautiful sunset type sky, if I remember right. It could have been blue, I'm not sure. But I painted it all out and made it black nighttime sky. Then I added this large image of this girl here running somewhere. She's looking at her wrist, or like if she has a watch on, she's in a hurry. This girl's running this way. This girl's running and jumping over the little huts. And then you've got this guy I cut out and put on over here. He's taking a selfie. And so what I thought would be really super cool would be to find some kind of image of a creature or something, you know, ominous looking, coming up that I could cut out, you know, the shape of the buildings from that object and place it on, and it would look like it was rising up above the buildings and scary, and that's why everybody's running, but yet this cat is taking time to do a selfie with the creature. So I thought that would be cool. I just haven't found my creature yet. So I thought that was kind of neat. And you'll see here, see, none of them are perfect. Well, some might be, but this one is not. Right here, trying to get her legs situated the way I wanted it to be, I messed up, and part of it tore, and, you know, you can see all the lines and wrinkles. I can fix that with paint, though. So I just went ahead and glued it down with the matte medium, and I'll fix it with paint when I get to that point. But my favorite one, I'll show you this one first that's in progress. So you had this page over here with with images. This page was, you can probably still see some of the text showing through. I've used white paint just to paint out most of that, and continued the black from this page over. So on this page, it was just a long hallway with doors going into these little tiny rooms, and there was a ladder that came down from this upper level. I painted that out, and painted blue sky in between these slats that was holding up the ceiling, and painted these side walls as space. And I'll continue the space over here. And then I took 4 little small pictures from magazines of girls. Let's see if I get them in the shot there. Yeah. These 4 girls, like they're stepping out of their doorways, like if they're little apartments or something. So I thought that was cool, and they worked just right. And I'm debating on whether or not to put somebody in this front room up here or this one. It's just so close to the end of the paper. And I like how they all show up really nice, the ones that are there. So, don't know what I'm going to continue on with this side. I haven't decided on that yet. Here she is. That's her. This one is my favorite one. And it was just this huge building, I think in Russia it said, or somewhere like that. Somewhere in the Soviet Union area. And it had a blue sky up here. So I painted that all black, splattered to do my stars, and used a marble up here and painted a little aura around it with some green and white paint to give it an aura. And that's, yeah, cut out marble. Then I painted in the windows, I did like a natural sky like we see with the blue and the clouds. And then I have a book. Let me go grab the book really quick, because she's really good for any kind of collage. Okay. This funny character came from this book, and it's called The Wonderful World of Fifi Lapin, or Lapine. I think it's Lapin. Style Secrets from a Furry Fashionista. My mom happened to find one in a secondhand store. Well, of course, she had dibs on it because she found it. I was killed because I absolutely love it. Look at her. Isn't she cute? She's absolutely adorable. And the pictures, the drawings in here are just so, they scream out, cut me out, collage me, use me. But it's a Fifi doing different things and her different styles. She's just perfect for collage. And so I found it, I think, on Amazon, and got a used one, and it also is, you know, perfect. Lots of cute little images to use for all kinds of things. Look at that. Wear an interesting hat for instant individuality. Yeah, she gives you tips and things on fashion. And then in the very back, it's like paper dolls. Look. You can cut her out in her outfits and change her outfits and accessories. There she is in a little teacup. Absolutely adorable. So if you get your hands on one of these, it'd be well worth it. I only paid a few dollars for this, I think $2 or $3 from Amazon for a used copy, hardback copy. That's all Mom paid at the secondhand store too, or she wouldn't have purchased that. So yeah, I use, you know, images from books, from magazines, calendars, anywhere I can find them. But anyway, that's where she came from, and I love this. I had everything done, had even already added the plants and a little tree over here, and I thought something's missing, and it hit me because I need people. I like people or animals, something in the layout. And I thought, I'm going to go look through Fifi, my little Fifi book, and found her walking her dog and just put her on, and the colors went so well together. I just loved it. So, oh, this was actually the first one that I finished. This was in June of 2018. So, yep, this was my first and favorite so far that I've done. But anyway, I've got a few in progress, and you know, this is a super cool page. In fact, I was just watching one of Dee Dee's older videos. She was actually working on this as a reverse collage, the video I was watching a little while ago. I think she recorded it and posted it back in 2017. Yeah. Just some really, really neat stuff. So what I wanted to share with you today was a girl that I found in a magazine that got me to, you know, thinking about, I haven't done anything fun for myself art-wise in a few weeks, you know, with Christmas and making journals for Christmas and then New Year's stuff and some swap things we've had going on. I haven't really taken time for me to just do something fun for myself. So I thought I'm going to pull out the Abandoned Places book and start flipping through some magazines. And one of the magazines I wanted to share with you is this, Aesthetica, yeah. It's not a cheap magazine. I only buy them once every year or two because I bought this last year. It was the February-March edition. It's $13.50. And see, I still have a lot of super images in here to work with. So I don't need to buy one this coming up year. I've still got a lot of cool things in here I can use. But in this magazine, I found there was a spread of this girl. Let me just get rid of these a second. I know this isn't blank, but maybe you can get the idea. It was her, and I think I put it away already. Anyway, there was a sailboat, and, you know, it was a little, like a sailboat you'd use on a lake, you know, not a rough water sailboat. So I thought about places. I said that would be really neat in the Abandoned Places book. So I started auditioning first her and then the sailboat in some pages, and finally came to this page right here. Long story short, I won't drag you through all of it, and decided she really needed to go here, and the sailboat I just would get rid of, not even use it. Well, then in the meantime, in that same magazine, I found this girl, this one, and I thought, well, how cool is she? Her leg positions match, you know, it mirrored the triangular position of the pylons of these buildings. So, you know, and I'd have her kind of pushed up on the page, whereas she's down low. So it all kind of balanced out with these in the middle. I like that. And then I knew I could pull in some bright colors, you know, to pull her in, along with the black and the white. I like yellow and black and white together. And I thought, oh, that'll be a really fun page to do. Then as I start looking through my box of supplies, I keep images that I find that are kind of quirky or different that I'm not using for my regular collage. I put them in this. I've already got it labeled Abandoned Places, so I know exactly what's in here. And I started digging through that and found several things that I liked on this page. For this page, decided to get rid of her because I found this instead that I really liked. I just threw that, you know, it's a piece of a floor, a section of a floor I found in a magazine. I really cut it out because I just wanted the pattern. I thought about punching some circles out of that to use for AT, the coins, the AT trading coins. And artist trading coins. And I was like, oh, I really like that. The colors, the grays match with the deep grays on these tiles, and the darkness, you know, the photo. Now what I want to do is I'm going to keep this sky over here as it is, and we're going to morph into a bluer sky that way and keep this kind of dark. Well, I'll have to change the watercolor a little bit too, but I just want to see how that goes. Then I found these, it's a light fixture, pendant lights, I guess. And I'm not sure if I want to use them this way, upside down, like that, as That's cool. I think I like that better than what I had. You know, like they're standing up on poles. I kind of like that. What I originally was thinking was using them over here behind this girl that's looking through the monocle. But I don't know. See how things change when you just try it out? I really like the way that looks. So we've already had one major change because that's where they're going. You just know it when you see it. You know, when it speaks to you, yes, that's it, then go with it. I found these girls, what I decided to do is, I found this one girl and I had put her down here and it made me think of girls walking along a catwalk. And instead of a photographer, you know, snapping their picture, you've got this girl looking at them through her little telescope. So I started thinking, well, she's the largest size I would want to use. So we'll put her closest to the cameraman, so to speak. Then I found this girl. And then I found these three girls together I cut out. They can go there. And I found her. So here are my models walking on the catwalk. And the only thing that I really, really need is some plants. I do, like I said, like greenery in my layouts and spreads. So I need to find some green plants that I can put here and maybe here at the end to, or I could paint this one out. I'm not sure what I want to do with that yet. Oh, I also had these people. Originally, I was going to take this couple and put them on top of that building like that. It's a man and a woman like at a receptionist desk. But when I decided to do the model catwalk thing, they got history. So I put them over here. I might still have them sitting over there in front of the lights. Or let's see what they look like on a tear down. No, I don't like that or that. They may or may not stay there. I can always push those lights up. You know, like if they're the managers, they're watching to make sure everything's flowing smoothly or whatever. So anyway, this speaks to me. I love the composition of it, the balance of everything, and you've got her over here. The models flow nicely there across the middle. So what I need to do now is go find my greenery, and then I'll be right back and we will start putting this all together. I'm back, and I have picked out several images that I want to use on the spread in my Abandoned Places book. And before you get started, one important thing to do is to put deli paper, wax paper, parchment paper, something under your pages so that you don't spread paint or the matte medium, onto your underneath pages, because they will stick together like nobody's business. So let's try not to do that. I've already stuck a couple of like pages just around the edges where I thought I was finished with kneading the deli paper, and took it out too early and then went back and did some stuff thinking, oh, it won't, you know, just some little touch-ups. It got stuck into the pages underneath. Anyway, so let me show you what the layout I've decided is going to be. So we have the girls walking or on top of the buildings out here. Oops, I have her folded. Okay, there are my girls, and you've already seen this girl who's looking like the cameraman would be. And a floor over here with some steps. And I have decided that I think these lights work the best over here upside down, as if they're standing up on poles behind the stairs, the steps. And then I found, in looking for some greenery or something to put right down here, I came across this flower shape. I had cut out of, I've got several of them from a magazine. They're in an ad for some kind of medication, I think. But I always cut them out. And I'm going to place that on the horizon behind this behind the lights, like that. Let's see if, okay. And then to cover up this little, the bottom of this pedestal that went to something, that I cut the top of it off, I'm going to use my vase. And then I found these little flowers at first. Let's see, how did I have them going? Something to the effect of, like I have it wrapped around the vase like this. Is that how it went? There we go, there at the bottom. And I may leave it just like that. I feel like that's enough, but you know, I may get crazy with the flowers later and decide I need more. And if I do, I have some sitting over here on the side ready to go. I found this little set, like in a vase, and this big one, which I know makes no sense, this one single large flower, but I just like the way it looked. And we can stick that back there. You know, it's all in what you're feeling at the time, what you know, like at the moment. So the next thing to do is to get started with gluing these down using this, the matte medium, and I just use the Liquitex. I know Dee Dee Willingham uses the golden matte medium, and one day I'd love to try it. It's just, I like this because it squirts directly from the bottle top, if you get it open. And I just need to peel that glue out there. But I do want to try the golden matte medium one day. They're almost the same in price. The golden is a little bit more expensive, but not that much to make a really huge difference. Oh, here's one other element I found. I found this hydrangea piece and thought about placing it there over the bottom of her dress where she's standing, just to kind of even out the flow of the pink flowers. So it kind of depends if I use these flowers over here or not. See, if I leave these two off, I really don't need the pink on the bottom of her dress, I don't feel like. So it just depends. So let's get started and see what we come up with. I am getting my brush. I keep my glue brushes in water constantly. They're my yucky brushes, I like to call them. And I just wipe it down with some paper towel. Oh Lord, I think the last thing I used was black paint. Let me see if I can rinse that a little bit better. My water, my water does need to be changed. Oh, terribly. Anyway, we're gonna roll with it, and if I have to get up and change it, I'll just do it really quick and edit that part out. That's the magic of editing. And now that I've figured out how to do that, it's not that hard, that editing, I mean. It's really not. In fact, I can edit and cut things out quicker than it takes for it to load. Oh my goodness. Sometimes it's like an eternity. And of course, I do all of this on my phone. And my phone is like, oh, my lifeline. I'm addicted to it. If I'm not, you know, talking on it, I'm watching YouTube videos on it or movies, you know, something on Netflix while I'm working. So, yeah. Anyway, time to get started. what I like to do is pull things off to the side. And a good tip I learned from Dee Dee is if you're not sure about the placement, you know, if you remove the pieces and you're unsure about where you put things you might not remember, take a snapshot of it, you know, on your phone or with your iPad or whatever. And then if you need to, you'll have a reference to go back and look at. But I'm pretty sure there's not a whole lot of layering here. It's all pretty simple. So I'm just pushing everything to one side. And I think I'm actually going to start with these girls up here first. There's actually some glitter on the book from something else I was doing. Let's get that gone. Ooh, forgot. We've got to change gears here. I wanted to work on my sky. Okay, changing gears. Put the matte medium up. Let's see, before I put my pieces on, I would like to do something in the sky a little different. You don't have to, and I could leave this fine, just add my collage elements, and would actually, you know, be happy and satisfied with this just as it is, the picture itself, and just add the elements. However, that being said, with these lights that I'm adding over here, I thought it would be kind of neat to leave that a nighttime dark sky and have it transition ever so slightly. Not a big change, but have this, see how it gets lighter in the middle with the clouds, or the clouds are lighter in the middle. Transition this over to an even more clear sky. Does that make sense? Anyway, we'll see how it goes. If it's completely horrible, well, you know what I could do? If I went ahead and covered everything with matte medium and didn't like it, I could wipe it off, couldn't I? Yes, I could. So let's, okay, go back to matte medium. I'm just going to go ahead and like prep everything with this matte medium. Okay, we've almost got this dried, spread out all the way. You can kind of see with the, if you get the light on it just right, you can tell where you've got the matte medium and where you don't. Yeah. And I'm pretty much a stickler about making sure I get everything evenly and completely covered. It saves you a lot of heartache in the end. Okay, now see, that didn't take long. And that way, if I start doing this work over here and just hate it, or it's not coming out the way I anticipated and it's not worth it, you know, I don't want to feel stressed doing this. I want to enjoy this process. Then I can smoosh it off, wipe it off. I'll have baby wipes at hand or my wet wipes, and can, you know, start again. So, and if this is way too loud, I will delete this part out. Okay, that's done. Now, yeah, that feels pretty good. Okay, I want to stick with the gray sky, I think, with just a touch of blue. So since I have not done a lot with altering a sky, transitioning it over from one color and, you know, doing the transition to a lighter color, I've just pulled out a bunch of colors. I've got this plum suede, which is, there is a little bit of a plum look in these clouds, if you could see that up close. I've got this medium gray. Pulled out Blue Bonnet and Baby Blue. Some of these are Americana, the Deco Art Americana paints. Some are the Apple Barrel White, Snow White, and English Navy. And this one is Vanilla Ice Cream. So these are the colors I'll be working with. And what I'm going to do is just squirt several of the colors out onto my palette over here. Now I want to do most of this on camera. Now, but when I get to the parts and bits where I have to paint all this little tiny stuff inside the pilings, I don't even know what the word actually is. I may cut that out if it gets to be a little too tedious to watch. So we'll just see how it goes. I'm going to use the same brush, actually, that I just used for my matte medium to do this basic stuff first. I'm terrible about that. Unless I'm watercolor painting, I just kind of paint with whatever's available and comfortable in my hand. Mostly what's convenient. Which is why this had black paint when we first started. I had used it, I was making ATCs with black backgrounds. And this is just the perfect size to swoop, swoop, swoop over a couple of, take a couple of swipes and fill an ATC card with some paint. Okay, the first place I want to add paint is over this text block right here. And I do not want it to be very dark. So I'm going to use a mix of the blue and gray, maybe a little bit of white in there, and that way that can be drying. So if I need, it turns out I need more coverage to get those letters covered up, you know, this will be dry and I can add more paint to that as needed. Well, I'll just feather this out. Okay. Add a touch of the plum, just see what happens. What's fun about this to me is just playing, mixing the colors, seeing what happens as you work. How do the colors, see, there's that color that I'm looking for. All it took was the addition of that plum suede. That's Plum Suede by Americana Deco Art Paint. Well, that was a little too much down there, but that's something I can work around. I just didn't want the ominous looking clouds over here for the most part. It's not so much that I want to change the color of the sky. I actually I love this. I think it's really pretty, very beautiful sky. I mean, if it's got to be cloudy. Yeah, I'll have to get a smaller brush to really get in there, but now that I have my matte medium on there, it really doesn't matter. I could just take my baby wipe or my finger like that and just wipe it off. If I get it, you know, before it sets in, dries really good. Ooh, something in my paint there. Okay, it's hard to see with the glare. The glare is killing me. I don't know about you guys, but let me tilt this up so I can see what's happening. I may end up painting the whole sky, who knows. It's another option if you don't like what you're doing. Just change the whole thing, not just part. Actually, I like it like that with the blue and the plum and the gray. I like it a lot. I'm probably going to end up painting the whole sky. We'll just see. Another reason why I wanted to lighten up on this side is because of my girl with that's looking out at everything. I wanted her little telescope, her, yeah, it's not a monocle. Monocle is that thing that you Just goes on the eye thing. I think an eyepiece. I'm so crazy. Yeah, her little telescope. I wanted it to show up better than what it does on this darkness. This really dark background. See if I can keep that horizon line straight. Yeah. Whoops. That's good enough. I don't care if that little piece there sticking out is painted over. It doesn't bother me. It's hard to talk while you paint, so I'll be a little quiet for a second. But see, I smeared some on that. I could just wipe it right off. Wipe it right off. Well, I wiped too much. And I'm not looking for perfection with this, guys. I just want it to be fun. See, okay, so I'm leaving it darker at the bottom. Now we'll start back up with some more gray and the plum. Kind of pull that in again. Just see how it does. Let's see what happens. I think this is super fun. A touch of the blue and white. Oh, maybe a little too much white. Let me get that off my brush. There's a little filbert in there. I don't know what that is. Wipe it on there. Got a paper towel over there. And there's a lot of little detailed things at the top of these little buildings. I'm not too concerned about saving those. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a little brush to get here in between the buildings and the pylons around them. Yeah, absolutely will have to do that. We need some more paint on the text up here. Let's try to pull this paint back up. Let's see if we can do some swirl looking areas like the clouds over here. You know, it's not a flat wash of color. May come out yucky looking. I'm sure it's not going to look like it did, but let's just play with it a little bit and see what we think. I don't want it, it's not going to be a masterpiece, I know, but this is a fun way to just learn how colors play with each other, how to get certain effects. Just a, yeah, good playground. Play area. No pressure. I keep hearing a lot of people say they're so scared to try to do this altered book technique and the reverse collage because they might mess it up. Well, look, I've messed that up right there. Who cares? It's not a big deal. Even if it doesn't come out, I can go back with some other paint and paint it back in. You know, say it's dried, and see, I'm picking it up with a damp paintbrush right there. Blot it. So I've picked up a smaller tip brush. This is one of the Dina Wakley mixed media brushes. I absolutely love these. I have this one that's the purple tip, and this one is a pink tip. It's a little larger size. Either one would be fine for what I'm getting ready to do on here, but unfortunately I keep this one in water all the time. You can tell because it has lost its white paint, which means water's soaking down into the ferrule part, and eventually it's going to end up, you know, the glue will end up wearing away or coming away from this, and it'll all fall apart. But until then, it works great, which is my fault. It's not the paintbrush's fault. It's most definitely my fault. So I'm taking just a little bit of the gray, the plum, and white. Oh, I need some blue in here. Let me dab that off. Get just a smidge of blue. Oh, see, way too white. And painting up in here. Way too light. I need more gray. Or plum, actually. Thinking I might need more plum. It would help if I got it I should have done this part as I was doing, you know, the rest, obviously. I'll just go back and paint these things in myself, touch them up. Paper towel, paper towel. Always need a paper towel. Yeah, that needs more blue and gray. See if I can't get some mixed in here that looks like it's supposed to. That's a little better match. Yeah, I'll just touch it up with some black paint or close to black paint. I might use the Payne's Gray. That's a good dark color. And I actually, truth be told, I kind of like the blurriness of the pylons there. I actually kind of like that look instead of the stark straight lines. That's kind of cool. Here, let me lift it up so you can see. See if that helps. See the difference between from this to this? Sorry, I had a paintbrush in my mouth. See the blurriness of these from where I've painted over and the stark, straight, crisp edges of that. I am actually liking the blurry look of these lines over here a lot. It gives it more of a painterly look. Does that make sense? Is that even a word, a term? Anyway, I'll come in here with this dry and kind of dry brush in between these smaller areas. See, and I'm not being precise or picky about it at all. Not at all. In fact, I'm sure there are people out there cringing right now if they're watching this, or some people that would cringe if they saw, first of all, the way I'm handling the brush and just smushing it around. But you know what? It's fun. That's what matters, is that it's fun. I have no expectations. Well, I mean, I do. I want it to look, you know, halfway like what the picture looked like. But if it's not perfect, I'm not going to cry over it, that's for sure. Okay, now let's see if I can get this crazy mix again. Some white, some gray, some more of the plum, a touch of navy. Maybe that's what I was missing, was the touch of navy. Gray. Plum. I think need some more plum. I think I've already pretty much used what was there. And I'm just barely, y'all, touching actually the page to do these small bits in here. Not, I mean, you can't really, you're not going to be able to tell. But I do like how that looks. The painterly look. It just looks more, not like a photograph, you know, which is great because that's what I'm doing. I'm painting. Oh, I keep smearing that. I like it. I really do. Dee Dee, I don't know how she does it. She paints really fast and so neat and precise, which, yes, I guess she's been painting for years and years. You know, and practice makes perfect. But I am totally amazed at how quickly she can paint or black out an area, a sky, and it's so neatly done. Absolutely amazing. I love to watch her paint. Those are my favorite videos that she does, are these, my first favorites is the abandoned places, and then my second favorite are when she makes her art cards. They're collage art cards. Stunning. And she just takes bits of paper and, you know, glues them down using the matte medium on these cards. And I think they're 3x4 size. And it's absolutely amazing what she can do with, you know, she just sort of, she visualizes in her head very well, I guess, what the outcome will be, what she wants it to be. And, yeah, it's very good at achieving that look. Let's go ahead and just paint around these. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the whole sky. I'm liking this look. See, I'm learning to loosen up just a bit. I can tell a difference in me. I started doing, I discovered mixed media back in 2015. We had just moved in this house. It was, in fact, right before we moved in the house. My mom and I, well, I discovered YouTube first. I had got my first smartphone. And so I was asking my girls, you know, what does everybody watch? And, you know, or I was noticing they were watching videos all of the time. I was like, what are y'all watching? And it was constantly YouTube, Mom, YouTube. And finally, my oldest girl, she said to me, Mom, there are videos on YouTube that you would love, probably. Crafting videos and art, you know, art videos. And I was like, what? You've got to be kidding. And she was like, no, check it out. So I did, and that was when I discovered the existence of which I did not know was out there, of mixed media art, and was absolutely taken with it, fascinated. Of course, I wanted to go out and buy all the newest, latest, greatest stuff, which was not possible in our situation, but you know, you just start with a few bits here and there, and a few paintbrushes, some acrylic paint, your basic colors. I had been, right before that, I had started back into some an artsy area by quilting. When I first I was in a really bad car accident, and couldn't work for a year, well, almost a year. And I think I'm going to paint, let's see, I like the white cloud right here. I think I'm going to start just sort of trying to feather it out, maybe. Anyway, I was in the bed a lot. Both of my legs were broken in different areas, but I had spent a lot of time, unfortunately, in the bed. But that being said, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. I was a school teacher. And things were changing a lot in that realm. And from what I gather, I've had so many people, you know, say to me, Deborah, I know it's not you probably don't want to hear this, but try to think of it, yes, as a blessing in disguise. Let's finger paint. Changing the subject there. Maybe that's how we can get, oh yeah. See, live and learn. I can kind of get a cloudy look easier with my finger than the brush. Oh, well, except for I want that straight. That's really too light. Down here. That's a lot too light down here. Well, I can just feather it off, couldn't I? Anyway, so I started quilting, but the quilting got, I don't know. I needed something else to do, and so anyway, like I said, when I finally got that smartphone and discovered the world of YouTube and all of you guys out there, I was just fascinated. It was fabulous. And I've been addicted to it ever since, and got my mom into it. She was absolutely loving it too. Okay, what'd I do with that paintbrush? Where did it go? Here it is. So together, between the two of us, we got some supplies, and you know, got a few stamps and some paper, and got a journal, one of the just like Canson mixed media journals, and started with like the Delusions stuff. When we moved here, I remember we got our first, I had only been living in this house about a week, and we ordered a set of the Delusions paints to kind of share and swap between us, and I was so excited the day that those came, and we sprayed and painted everything we could get our hands on. It was so funny. But it was super fun. We had a good time. That was the main thing. It was fun. And my mom is a fabulous painter. She she likes realism. She's a very detail-oriented painter. I could never do the kind of painting she does. She and my uncle, her brother, my dad can actually draw quite well, and my brother can draw and color things very well. I got more of the, I'm a teacher artist. I could do, you know, the art and stuff needed for kids at school, and like decorating my own worksheets and creating those types of things, doing little drawings for the kids and decorating like thematic things for them, but no detail. There, got that. I think, okay, get underneath this one a little bit. I wanted there to be a place I could put some stars, but I don't think this page is going to lend itself to that. Some blue, dark blue. Just kind of lighten everything up. We need some navy blue. Maybe some more navy. Yeah. I'll just kind of swirl with my brush there, like that. And like I said, once you get your other elements on here, your fun pieces, your people, whatever embellishing you're doing, we probably won't even notice this old sky too much. Now will we? I'm thinking no. And this, where I've gotten some of the plum down on the water area, if you live near the water, you'll notice when it rains and you see it off from a distance, the water, the rain coming down and the water level all mixed together, and you can't tell where the horizon is. That's kind of neat. That's how that looks right now. Dab some of this in there and on here because I like that color better. This is just so fun to me. I don't even care how it turns out. I really don't. It's just fun. I love to smush some paint down. If I ever get bored, not bored, or have a block, you know, a creative block, I literally take a piece of paper, large, you know, 12 by 18 sheet of paper, and start throwing paint down. Sometimes I use a brush, sometimes I use, you know, your cards that you saved that are old and outdated. Sometimes I use both, sometimes I use a brayer, and just throw paint down. And I throw colors down that I wouldn't have thought of, you know, try new color combinations. Oh look, we're throwing some of the plum over here. Okay, I think I'm about through with the sky for now. We'll let that dry and see how that looks. And if we're not happy with it, then we'll do something to change it when I come back. Okay. Yeah. We'll see what this does, how this looks. That's too neat right there. Just too neat. Let's mess it up. I guess these buildings are so rugged looking. That's why I really like this, how it looked over here. Gives it a ruggedness. Yeah, that'll work. I'm actually liking my sky, y'all. I don't know about you, but it was fun. It's a little different from what it was, making it my own. Putting my own touch on it, I guess. Whoops, I like to smear that out a little bit. That's a little too streaky, and my brush is getting dry, but I don't want to change the paint on it. Okay, that works for me. See, no pressure, no stress, none whatsoever. All right, we'll let this dry, and I'll be right back. Oh, in the meantime, I will be taking my extra, get this up, my extra paint on my paint palette here and smearing this in my paint book. You know, you don't want to waste all of this goodness. So I have a book down here. Yeah, here we go. See, I use it to smear paint in and to stamp things, stamp off ink from, you know, stamping. So I'll smear all of that in my book, and yeah, that creates great backgrounds for other pages later. Okay, be right back. So we did the sky, and I like that pretty good. I do kind of wish I hadn't painted all of the clouds out here, but c'est la vie. That's how it goes. I cleaned off my palette and got that in my, you know, my wipe off book. This page added the white here. I didn't have as much left as I thought I would. So we'll leave that to dry over here. And I think I'm going to make this 2 parts. What you've seen earlier being part 1, and now we're going to go into part 2, which is adding the elements, you know, the pictures and elements onto the pages. So I hope you like what you've seen so far and have enjoyed it, and hope it inspires you to give it a try. But come back for part 2 and see what happens with this piece. Bye.